Okay, so I'm going to run through 4 brands,
Right.
and I just want your honest opinion, one way or another, whether it would be, hey, own it, love it, or would, how do you say it? Own it, love it, want to buy it soon, just not my cup of tea. I love this watch about it, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
we'll start with the one that I think I already have the answers for, but Rolex.
Yeah. Don't want to get mugged.
Don't want to get mugged.
Is that
Totally
a
understand.
US phrase? Is that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to get into trouble. Storied history, from a enthusiast point of view, I think it signals too much in the wrong direction for me personally, and that's a shame. I think truly there's a reason they're number one. There's no question.
Right.
Brilliant watches, just not for me.
I think on that one, I wasn't going to say anything, but I can't help myself. I just got back into watches literally a year ago.
Yep.
Basically right now a year ago.
Yes.
Oh.
I just decided out of nowhere I want a nice watch, and decided to, that's when I met Zach almost exactly a year ago, and
Awesome.
bought my first mechanical watch that I had bought in multiple years.
Wow.
So, but I remember being a young man and being in sales and being in Miami a lot, being in South Florida a lot, a lot. And I never wanted a Rolex because everybody had fake Rolexes. And I remember thinking, no one's going to believe that my 25, 27-year-old self is actually got a Rolex on.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have that conversation. I don't want to have to prove to you that my watch is real, right? Like, I'm not interested in that conversation. Nor did I want the guy looking going, yeah, I bet. I bet. Because a lot of times down there, I'm dealing, at the time, we were dealing a lot with agriculture. So I may look like I just got done in a field, because you can't dress like this to go meet a farmer. I'm wearing boots and blue jeans and a polo. And so, the name played against it to me back then, right?
Yeah.
And that changed later on in life, and I think it came with age too. Like I said, at 27, is anyone going to believe this is real? I had a relative that had a gold, solid gold Rolex that was given to him as a wedding present, and he thought the same thing, because his job, and he was the guy that wore his watches, he was wearing T-shirts and blue jeans every day.
Yeah.
He made a whole lot of money.
Yeah. Sure.
But what he did for a living was a jean and T-shirt kind of job,
Fair enough.
And it looked
Out of place,
unreal
right?
on him. Yeah,
I get it.
So okay, Rolex. So I get that. And I think if you lived in most parts of America, you would feel different about that, because in most of America, you can wear a Rolex out and not be, I'm not saying necessarily in Manhattan or parts of Chicago or stuff like that.
I gotcha.
You can walk the streets of Nashville and be fine, and be absolutely fine.
Understood. Having said that, so my business, we're in chemicals and we're manufacturers and so on. There was a big trade show in Vegas last month, and one of the clients had flown in from Asia and was washing his hands in, I believe it was as a hotel, and this is unique to the US. No, it's not unique, but it's not something I would see in the UK. He had a gun pulled out on him because he put his hands up like this to wash his hands, and he had a Rolex on, and it was spotted. And that was in Vegas. And I was like, that scared me, if I'm honest.
I get it.
Yeah.
And so, but that's an unfortunate thing. But hey, if you're driving a really posh car, right, then
That's unfortunate.
you got to have that. You got to think about that.
Yep,
So,
you do.
but
It's scary. It is scary. Like, there's no question about it. Why draw that kind of attention to yourself if you don't have to?
absolutely. But we don't get me wrong. Guns, they exist everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
They're just not.
They really exist here, though.
I've heard.
They really exist here.
I've really heard.
Yeah. Ask Japan why World War II didn't go the same way. Why they didn't keep going after Pearl Harbor. Anyway. Okay, so Omega.
Yes. Some Omegas I pine for. And some I don't understand. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think they're really quite wide in what they offer, and I don't even know the whole range.
He sounds like me. He really does. I mean,
that's the world. Let's be honest. They have a deep catalog.
They do, right?
Yeah.
So in fact, my parents had matching. I think they're called Constellation. Is that right?
Yeah, the dress watch. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had a matching set, and I remember that vividly.
That's awesome.
And I thought, and I still think, that is a beautiful watch.
Yeah.
For me, it's about the Snoopy. It just is. It
Yeah.
just is. And
If you buy 2 from him, he give you a discount. I'll take one. That's an awesome
back
watch.
to that truck that we need for the rush on the Rolexes tomorrow. So again, mixed bag. Some have a lot more meaning to me than others.
Yeah.
But perhaps not totally my cup of tea.
Right. Okay. What about tag?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, first proper watch was a Tag. I have to tell you, I thought they were just out of fashion. At one point, I thought they were out of business. Not when I was not really looking at watches too hardcore. And I've just seen a few. I've seen it at your place, and I was even in the airport shops. I mean, I travel a lot for work, right? I see it. I thought they were beautiful.
Yeah.
The latest ones were like,
They're doing a great job.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
They're turning that around, man.
Yep.
They are turning that around. My first mechanical watch of any substance that I bought because I hit a certain plateau with business was a Tag as well. From Reed's back, what year did we figure? 07?
That sounds right.
07-ish, 08. So I get it. Like, it held a special place in your heart. But I felt the same thing. It's like, man, y'all just kind of went astray. But, man, the last few months especially, it's just like, whoa, now that's what I'm talking. I find myself cheering for them.
Yeah,
I really do, because I want them to.
But wasn't it? Was it you that showed me what looked like a logarithmic scale on that timer? Was that?
There was when we were talking about the Chrono Sprint, the Porsche one. Is that what we're talking about?
Right.
With the,
that was Porsche, so it wasn't. It was.
It was Tag. It was a collaboration
with their collaboration. Yes. Yeah. I was mesmerised by the idea of it, and for me, I think it felt too large, right? Small wrists and all that jazz.
Sure.
But what a watch!
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
It was, and it's, you don't see. So years back there were a lot of firsts that Tag would come out with, and then they hit a kind of low spot where they, maybe made some wrong moves, fell out of favor a little bit. But now we're starting to see them come back with world firsts. They're making these horological breakthroughs, and it is really cool to see.
No, I think that's great. And certainly what speaks to me, being like my background is research and the sciences and so on, making that leap, that inventive step, I'm always going, let's take a look, right? Whatever it is. It could be pointless. Frankly, we all know that we are looking at quite pointless devices.
Not needed at all.
It's just, and the worst thing is with all these watches, I still turn up late to everything. That's the worst.
100%.
That's the worst.
100%.
And always my wife is with me to remind me, all these watches and you can't be on time. It's a different story. Let's not go there. But Tag is.
You're impressed by what they're doing now.
I am, and like I said, for me, there is that link back to the first watch. So I would always have a soft spot for Tag Heuer, always. People will obviously go to, with anyone that knows a little bit about the watches, the Monaco, and if you like cars, that would be a one to have. That I've tried that on. My brother-in-law had it, and it's beautiful, but it's too big for me.
Yeah.
But Tag. A lot of respect for Tag at the moment.
Okay, so the last one I want to ask you about, Tudor.
So if you had asked me a month ago, I'd be like, no, not for me. But as of a couple of weeks back, I can't remember, but I saw it and I bought it on the spot. Which
one did you buy?
The Burgundy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so man, that is one watch for those that have not seen that in person. Please, I don't care if you hate Tudor. Take a second, find an AD, find someone that's got that watch, and hold it in your hand. It is a completely different watch in hand than it is on any It's just got to be how it's the photography on it. It looks like a completely different beast in person and in a much better way.
Yeah. So full disclosure, if one of my cousins ever watches this, I have to swallow my words because I was on his case about why would you do that? You know, it's Rolex parts. I like the idea. You can respect it, but nah. I think I think I use the words. You're trying to show that you're a watch guy, but you're not. You know that happened. And so when I get back to the UK, I'm going to his for some food, and obviously I'm going to be like, look at that. But yeah, no, a lot of respect for Tudor. So you guys, counter question with Tudor, right? Mm-hmm. They seem to be, at the moment, always respected, always seemingly hitting it out of the park. But they've been around for many, many decades, right?
Yes.
So when has this started?
Well,
because I don't remember them 20 years back.
So and I don't think they ever left Europe, but they pulled out of the North American markets, or at least the United States at the bare minimum. So they came back in, I want to say the early 2010s. It might have been like 2012, 2014. I should really remember that, but. And it still took them a little bit of time to gain traction because they had a model that was called the Heritage Advisor. It was an alarm watch, so kind of like the Memovox, and just such a cool piece. But they weren't really as widely accepted as they are today, and unfortunately they retired that model before they really got the popularity that they have now, because I think that's the one that got away for them a little bit, because you'd have a lot more guys that are into like the higher end watch stuff that would be interested if they still had that in their catalog. Right. But anyway, I would say in the last maybe 6 or 7 years is when it really started taking off. Their first hype watch that I can remember was the Harrods. And of course they made that to where you could just pick it up through their website, and so there were a lot of people that were able to get their hands on that watch, and it just kind of got things going. So, and as far as being a separate entity from Rolex, to a degree at least, so the late 90s is when the last time period where they were using some Rolex parts. When they started out, it was a Rolex case, it was a Rolex clasp. I mean, it would even have the crown on it.
So it's all its
a completely different company now, basically.
Yep. So the only difference in their earliest days was you'd have a different movement. It wouldn't be a Rolex or a higher end movement, at least. And it slowly turned into their own thing. But to this or these days, you have no cross-reference of parts or anything like that. It is 100% their own. Right. They have a movement manufacturer that they own a majority stake in called Kinesi. And you'll see Kinesi movements in some Norcanes. The previous generation Breitling Super Ocean Heritage had it. And then, of course, all Tudors pretty much, other than their like the 1926 and the Royal and maybe one or two of their other entry-level pieces, have a Kinesi in-house movement.
Right. So the one I bought was, is it Black Bay?
Yes.
Because they have, is it Pelagos, which is harder than
it's the Black Bay has a little bit more of like a vintage flair to it, whereas the Pelagos is a much more, modern, streamlined watch.
Yeah. Well, if the question is what do I think, they were not on the radar. For me, I didn't even know who they were 5 years ago. Clearly I did. I just learned some more things about them, right? But now that I have one,
welcome.
Well, hey, I was thinking they were beautiful watches. I just assumed they were not for me, and it was actually being with you and trying it on, and it's that immediate, love. You know when you know, and you must know, isn't it? Like when you put it on, the people are, it's already done. I might as well go and have a cup of tea while you admire your own wrist. You just know.
So Zach, I kind of had the same situation that Sam found himself in with a year ago when I kind of got back into watches. To be honest, I didn't know what Tudor was, and I hate to admit that on a YouTube channel, but it's just reality. And I'm very, very real. Like it's really me.
Yeah.
But I heard the story. Hey, it was the Rolex parts, and some people, consider this, consider that. You start going down the rabbit hole online and seeing videos and stuff. And some people like really, some people either really, that's for guys that can't afford Rolexes, which absolutely is just not the case. And then other people are like, hey, I really like Tudor. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to look very open-minded. I don't have a reason not to. And man, I fell in love with some Tudor watches. And my wife has a Tudor. I have two, three. Two.
Wow.
So, three including hers.
But we went to a Tudor event this last year, like 2 months ago, and my wife got a Tudor watch, and she loves it, and it's on a leather strap, a Tudor leather strap, which is almost impossible to find right now.
Yeah.
And it was the only one at the whole show that was on a leather strap, and that's the one she wanted. And it was weird because I'm like, honey, pick whichever one you want, right? And she picks this one, and immediately my mind went to, it looks just like your mother.
Wow.
It looks like a watch that your mother would wear. And her mother's been passed away for a couple days off of 18 years now.
Okay.
And so I was like, wow, like that DNA carried through, And it's a beautiful watch, and she loves it. And it's if I custom made a watch for her, I think that would be the one, But you do you go down the rabbit hole and you realize how much Tudor meant to military. And how people think that Rolex was the only one that provided. No, Tudor was big in the military watches as well. And then, so when guys got out of the military, if they've been wearing that for the last 5 years and it handled everything, or 4 years or 8 years, whatever.
If it works.
If it works,
exactly.
Hey, I need another. And they're telling their sons, hey, it was sad to see them leave the U.S. market. But man, I find myself, ironically, I have an app that I track every day what watch I wear. And it's really cool because you may think you wear this watch more than that one, but this just tells a tale.
Oh, yeah.
And so you look back in a month, you're like, oh, I hadn't wore those watches, No, Jennifer, I wear all of them. I didn't mean to say that last part. But I wear my Tudor. It stays in my top two. One of my Tudor stays in my top two watches that I wear day in, day out, dress up, dress down.
That makes a lot of sense.
Buy groceries or have a meeting. I like them. I mean, for the money, it's hands down one of my favorite brands at this point.
When you speak of it like that, the match for me would be an Oris.
Yeah.
I just find their dials just always interesting.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm sure it's not always their own movement, all that jazz. In the end, that doesn't truly matter.
Sure.
Not every day, right? But Oris makes some just
love them.
They do.
Right.
I mean, the one you picked up recently,
yes.
The depth of that dial. So the exact watch that you bought, the day that we got it in at the store, I sent Rob a video of that, just trying to demonstrate, because like the advertisements don't do it justice. It looks like, relatively flat. It's kind of like a Grand Seiko.
Yeah.
Seeing it in person versus seeing it in an advertisement, two completely different things. And the depth, though, on that pointer date is just amazing.
Full disclosure, in the bright, beautiful North Carolina sun, it is so hard to see the pointer, but you have to angle it. I've been learning. Actually, so weirdly, I was taking a photo of another watch to send to Charisma to get approval from the High Lord, and she spotted the yellow Oris in the background, and then she came to the store with me, and specifically that's why she asked for that watch.
Nice.
Yeah, and the photo I took was from a while ago. It wasn't recently. It was.
It was your last visit.
Yeah, it was months back.
Yeah.
So I was quite shocked that she picked it, and I found it such a happy face. But it's not just the new ones; even some of their old ones. Going back to what we place value on, a gift I received from her actually was, and I think it was a gift of almost to say, oh, here you go, boyfriend. Thank you for being my boyfriend. Kind of weird gift. And back then I don't think obviously we couldn't afford much, but she'd obviously saved up. It was a few £100.
Yeah.
But just a beautiful watch, beautiful dial, and they've been quite consistent. I feel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they always seem to have really interesting dials. No?
They do. They definitely have unique dials, and have had them. So I'm sure it goes even before the 2010s, but I know that I have a 2011 Oris Aquas Maldives edition that has just a really interesting dial layout that you did not see during that time period. And ever since then, they've always had these quirky, nice, fun ones.
Right.
I'm a sucker for the New York Harbors one that they came out with a few years ago that had green mother of pearl. It's just, it's a really, really cool look.
Right. And look, we are collectors, right? Make of that what you will. But actually, it's nice to have something that's a little bit left field, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, frankly, they're not priced to, I wouldn't say they're super high.
They're very achievable. They're achievable.
That's a nice way to put it.
If you are a factory worker, 8 to 5, 7 to 4 guy, it is a goal you can absolutely achieve, male or female. Everyone on the channel knows I love Oris. I truly can't remember. I think I own 6 at this point.
No, I think you have more than that. I think
Maybe
it's like
more
8.
than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but I really like
He's got a
Oris.
problem.
No, I don't. No.
Well, where are they based? They're Swiss, but where?
So they're independent. They aren't under. They're one of the few that are. They are their own company. They're not part of any other. So, a couple things about them I like. I love their dials.
Yeah.
I love pointer date is possibly my favorite way to tell the date. It just really is. I'm very attracted to it.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is nice.
it's just nice, right? It's just that wow, that's really cool. It's something so simple, but it's really
I've seen
cool.
it on a VC on a Vacheron.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
And,
they're
I
a
mean,
little bit more
that's-
than Oris, though, right? Just
I
a
mean,
couple
slightly.
pounds more.
You know
right?
what? It's because they sound French, but they're actually Swiss. Who knows? I hear they've got some kind of history.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Holstein, to answer your question as well. So it's in
Holstein.
Switzerland, but in Holstein, and I don't know if there's any other big manufacturers that are out of Holstein that I know of. Or to be even honest, if you asked me to tell you where Holstein is on a map, I could not tell you. Now, I'm going to spend 3 days with Oris next week in Washington, D.C., so hopefully I will come out of that being able to tell you where Holstein is.
Do you ever get any freebies on your these training events? Or?
So you get some swag from time to time.
You just don't want to give it. You're trying to keep it quiet. You just don't want to give it to us.
No. I generally bring back something, for someone. But they, I've never been to one where they give you a watch. That's what I'm waiting for. Is for them to just give you a watch. That'll be be neat. Heard rumors that that's actually the case with Oris, so we will find out. Now you gotta. I think it's like somebody who goes above and beyond. So maybe we'll.
Hey, I'm just admiring the dials, the way they're priced. I have a suspicion you could have that same argument for other players. I mean, there's so many independent watch players at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them are spectacular.
For them to be completely independent. And they do, once again, not getting political at all, but no one wants dirty oceans. I don't care what side of the parties you fall on, and they put some money behind keeping oceans clean.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
They have whole lines that part of the profit is immediately put into that.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
And they, once again, doesn't matter how you feel about this, but like their sales reps and all of their staff, when they travel, if I'm not mistaken, have to drive like EVs, and it's just they put their money behind
that's a nice touch.
where the
right.
I can appreciate that even if I disagree or it's not my cup of tea.
I
If you
understand.
say, hey, this is the rock I'm going to stand on, well, I don't want to see you over here behind closed doors. I want you to stand on that rock. And to me, they just do it. Like I said, whether you agree or disagree.
They're living their values.
They're living
right?
their values.
Yeah,
and I can
that's-
appreciate that.
Yeah, I respect that.
Another interesting thing that I don't know if there's any other brand that's done this, but their executives, see, they were bought by Swatch Group, and they didn't like the direction that things were going. They started making some quartz watches, which is something they'd never done before and haven't done since. They just didn't like the way things were going. I think they saw the writing on the wall that they were going to get put maybe in a price category that they didn't want to be in or something along those lines. They pulled their money and they bought themselves back.
That's incredible.
From Swatch Group.
I remember you telling me about this just a few weeks back when I went and bought that watch, and
But that's amazing.
That is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back Okay, Netflix, we're throwing more at you. I mean, come on, there you go, right?
It's a story in itself.
I mean, for your internally to go, this isn't aligning with our values and our thoughts and our beliefs and just our direction. So we're going to take it upon ourselves as executives and just employees. At the end of the day,
Right, we're both in business, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine having a team that has that much love
Yeah.
for your brand, your product,
Yeah.
that actually they're going to tell you to, and they're going to sort it out.
Kick rocks.
That is the
kick
one,
rocks.
right? That is
Yeah.
the one.
We love it more than you do.
That's
Yep.
incredible.
And you own it, but we love it more. It's
Yeah.
it's us.
That's amazing.
And you know,
That's
more
a great-
recently,
that's a
Elise
great story.
Nardin did that in the last year. So
Did they
those are the
really?
only two occasions that I can think of off the top of my head that something like that happened. But yeah, so
those are great stories in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you asked me. Sorry, I brought Oris onto that.
No,
I'm glad I did. I learned
yeah.
something new again.
we love Oris. I mean, they probably get more talk time between us than probably any other brand, to be very honest
yeah,
with you. They really,
we
really
talk
do.
about a lot of Oris.
But as in privately or on the channel as well?
Well,
Or?
both. It comes
Yeah.
up probably every video, but privately as well. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a big fan of Oris. I mean, I really
Yeah.
am. There's a vintage Oris laying right over there, actually, as I look up. But
Yep.
okay, Zach, what's your next question?
So, you know, what would you say your Grail watch is at this point in your collecting?
Right. Okay. So there's a problem with Grail watches.
Your wife's not going to watch us. Don't worry.
Oh, you
The only one you want, the one you want's like $1,500, baby.
Like, you have to look over you. Every time I come into your store, I'm looking over my shoulder. No. So the one issue with Grail watches is once you've got it,
Yeah.
you move on to the next Grail watch,
Yeah.
right? And you shouldn't be looking ahead of your Grail watch to the next one. Then it's not truly
The Grail,
right?
exactly.
So I mean, this is the Lange, right? The Langen's honor. It's the one, and for me, that the romance of having the moon dial or whatever it's called,
Moonphase, yep.
Moonphase, right? It's high horology. It's classic. It's a gentleman's watch.
Yes.
I do like dress watches anyway, so that was the Grail watch until I went and got it. So now it's been a few years. So I have made a list in my head. The first one that really floats my boat, but I've never seen it in the wild, is an FP Journe.
Okay.
Totally forgotten the name, maybe because I'm nervous, I don't know, but it's the one with the quartz built in. It's like hybrid.
Oh, yeah.
Elegante.
Elegante.
Right? It's a lady's watch, in fact, originally, I'm told.
They had two different sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking of the small one anyway because of small wrists.
Fair enough.
Don't care. The idea of that is such a clever idea. I have seen FP Journes, actually, weirdly, when I was down in Miami. Their people are lovely at their boutique. The first thing I said is, I cannot afford your watches. I'm here to admire them from afar. Would I be allowed in? They brought me drinks and everything, right? They were genuinely kind. And they genuinely could not sell me a thing because they're sold out for like 5
Sold
years.
out.
Yep.
So that watch retails for something like 18 grand, I think, give or take. I may be off a little bit. Mike can
It's
put it up
entry
for
level
us.
for
Yeah.
them, though.
But
Oh yeah.
one just sold at auction for 100 grand. Okay, so I won't mention her name, but there is a very famous YouTuber that was her Grail watch, and her husband picks it up in London for her, walking down the road with the bag in his hand,
Oh no.
Wow.
stolen.
No way.
Gone. She never even saw it. And I don't know the story if that particular AD or boutique or if FB Journe themselves got behind it, but they heard about it and they let her buy another watch,
Wow.
which I thought was like incredible. Well, before we get to the last question that we have for Sam today, I want to ask you to take a second and like, share, subscribe, say something in the comments to us. Maybe tell us, what your Grail watch is, or ask Sam a question. He can jump in there and argue back and forth. I mean, comment back and forth with you. So for the
and no hating on London.
and no hating on London.
One of the
Listen,
great cities in the
there
world.
is an art gallery downtown London that I want to go to so bad, and my wife just will not get on a plane and fly to London with me. She says it's the plane. I know it's the price of the art that stops her, but she's using that. No, I don't want to fly to Europe right now. So anyway, London is a great place. Unless you wear Rolexes out and stand on the corner too long. That's what we mentioned earlier today. Had to throw it in there. It is a beautiful city. Okay, so the final question is, if we had a magical wand and we could wave it and you could become the CEO of one of the larger watch companies, and for this illustration, they would be, I don't know who you're going to say, but they would be completely independent. So if they're under a big umbrella, they're not in this example, okay? So you are now the CEO. The owners placed you there. You have full control. It's no committee. It's your gavel to drop. What change would you make?
And Sam, just so you know, going into this, this isn't an interview, because before he's done with it, he's going to find a way to start a watch brand.
Yeah,
He's convinced of that.
I was going to say, careful. I obviously run a business, and there's a lot of judgment attached to this. Oh, if you were,
wait a minute.
Well, you're not a proper CEO. You're a moron.
Well, the most comments on this one. You want this guy to be CEO?
So yeah. Oh my God. So I can tell you straight away.
Okay.
There's one name that comes to mind, and I'm sorry to sound boring, but it's Breguet.
Oh, not at all.
So, I don't think I'm the first to say it. I don't fully understand what's going on in the background there, but I would always enjoy an uphill task. I don't think because you know what, being a CEO, it's about where you are in life as well, right?
Yes.
And one type of CEO fits correctly the right firm, and they'll do great things. And get a great CEO, but the wrong type for another firm doesn't work. I think I would like to think I could add value to Breguet. I do not know who their CEO is. I'm sure he's doing a tremendous, or she is doing a tremendous job. But my experience of Breguet does not fit the history.
The history.
And actually, forget the history for a moment, the inventiveness that they had.
Yeah.
And I think it's storied. I think there's great stories to tell, and I put huge amounts of money behind getting that story out there, right? And actually, I don't think it'd be that hard to get certain influencers, for example,
Totally.
Andrew Morgan in the UK, and he doesn't always show love to Breguet, so I hear what he says and I get it, or Teddy over here.
But it's Breguet currently. Andrew does not have. Andrew recognize, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
He recognizes like the story that could be told. I think it's just not
right?
being happy with the current situation. But it's so funny you said that. We had this exact conversation. It's almost like you took our notes, not on film, but the other day, not that long ago. One of our last long conversations was about this,
right?
And it was about that company,
right?
And it was about, man, how could you not tell that? In my opinion, they've got the best story to tell about the mechanics, the history. You got everything. You literally have everything.
You literally do, right? And it breaks my heart that it took new players, like Mr. Journe, to come up with pieces that have quartz in them, for example. That is an inventive step. I find that really quite beautiful. Or I spoke briefly of Heuer, who I believe they won some very prestigious awards about roughly 15 years back, right? I wonder, why is Breguet not at that forefront again? If it were me, I would start focusing on bringing them back to the forefront. At the moment, Targ is the one bringing out some patents and being inventive, right?
Even Breitling is doing a great job the last 24 months doing it.
Totally agree.
You know?
So I wouldn't just play on the history. I think that's a really important part, but I would be looking ahead and saying, right, look at who we were, look at what we were when we were our best. Let's speak to that again. That's what I would see. I wouldn't. I've been to a Breguet store. There's a boutique in London, and they do know their clientele, right? It is old money. It just is.
It just is.
And I don't think that will be lost if they then were looking forward as well. And I think they could buy Faircate what they have. I think that'd be just a really interesting story, right?
Yeah.
And we would all be discussing it and about it no end when it goes wrong. But what if you could get it right?
What if you could get it right? I was 2 week ago, recently. I was in an AD that had Breguet there, and I was looking at two watches that I was very much attracted to, right? And it was, and I had my youngest son with me. My wife and my daughter had stayed out in the vehicle, but we went in and we were looking at them. And this place had 10 very nice quality brands, okay? And we were in another state, and I remember standing in front of that booth thinking, it hurt me that it just looked like all of the other ones, right? And it just, I just felt like it was just totally missing the whole thing.
It's missing the spice.
And it's like, I'm looking at the product thinking, this is amazing. I mean, this is
incredible.
beautiful.
It's proper craftsmanship.
It
right?
is just everything about the size, the feel. I'm like, how do you look? I'm a salesman. It is what I am. It's what I've done for my whole adult life is sales and management. It is just what I know. You give me that to sell, I'm destroying everybody around me, you know. But I just feel like it just somehow was like lost in the deck, and I'm blown away because it's just absolutely gorgeous.
Well,
It really is.
And I think that now you have a battle to fight coming back from where they are now, because, you know, honestly, the first thing that pops into my mind, for instance, I love the tradition, and at some point I want that to be in my collection. In fact, my wife, Anna, made the mistake of saying, you have to have that in reference to that watch last year, which means, sounds like a green light to me. So at some point, I get to buy it.
We're leaving now. Zach's got to watch mine.
She's a keeper. Don't mess it up. Zach, do not mess this one up.
So, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about Breguet is, I want to buy that on chrono. I want to buy that pre-owned and let somebody else take the depreciation.
For such an elegant timepiece, for you to give up on the experience of buying it brand new, you know, like that should be the one that you're like, hey, man, I want the whole experience, right?
But you know, everyone talks of the Holy Trinity, right?
Yes.
So what's it? AP, Patek, and
Vacheron.
BC.
Yep.
So why in goodness's name would you not have Breguet at that pinnacle, right? Like I don't fully understand that myself.
It should be.
I'm sure there are reasons as well. I can't speak.
So we brought up, and I don't know if this was on film or if we were just talking, but this came up in conversation very, very recently with us. And one point that Mike from This Watch, That Watch, I think is his name. He's from South America, but I think he lives...
Africa.
What'd I say?
South America. We got you.
South Africa. Sorry.
I would not know.
Yeah. But he brought up a point that I was like, man, I don't think I would have thought of that myself. So I just want to give him credit. But he was spot on in my opinion. And it was, okay, if you took over, he was talking about taking over that company. He's like, if I took over that company, I would immediately make this change. I would not focus on selling more watches. I would focus on building the best of the best. Basically take the Journe avenue. I'm not really interested in selling $20,000, $30,000 watches. I want to sell you a $120,000 watch. But it's going to be you're going to think you're getting a $250,000 watch. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but this was the essence. You're going to think you're getting a deal because of just what it is. And what other company should be pulling that off? Right? If Fisher Mill can do it, and there's nothing against him, by no stretch is not what I mean, but I'm saying like it can be done.
It can be done.
And no one has got your stack all the stories up, and you can pick one.
There's no question, right?
So it's like, man, build that.
We were talking about earlier. We were talking about building a drama series about the history of Mr. Breguet and whatever. But also, like, I have to ask, what does hold them back? They're part of a group, and they might have their reasons.
So I This is hearsay, but I had the privilege of going to a Swatch Group training session in New York City a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, it wasn't any of the representatives of the brand whose training I was at, but there were other people who worked for the Swatch Group that were lifelong employees of Swatch. And they said that it was, while it does have a CEO, the CEO of Swatch Group personally, that's like their brand with their vested interest. So they have to sign off on everything before they move forward with certain things. Maybe that brand is more micromanaged than others. And then the other side of it is, I mean, just advertising. When you have these big groups, all of these presidents have to go and make a case for why they should get this percentage of the dollars because the pie is only so big.
Yeah,
so, for instance, a gentleman that used to be the, I want to say president, maybe CEO, I'm not sure how they labeled it, but for Jacques Dro of the North Americas, I have had the pleasure of talking with him at length, and that was one of the things that he brought up was, you know, Jacques Dro is an amazing brand, but the majority of us aren't familiar with it at all. They do wonderful enamel dials. They do some really cool stuff. But at the end of the day, they had basically no advertising dollars, and he would have to go and try to make a case as to why he deserved this money to put toward advertising. And then you've got the big dogs like Omega. You know, you've got Longines that you know, sells a pretty decent number of watches, is going to have some pull. And that's where I don't know, because if Breguet is truly his pet, you would think that you would get more advertising dollars and try to bring in a younger generation, because at some point you run out of the old money people.
Yeah, and you do, right? And in this day and age, it is not happening. I appreciate that they must have quite a base, but the question was, if I was CEO, right? Yeah. I would even consider, I mean, this could be sacrilege for many, but have Breguet young, so entry level watches, because I don't know that they do anything sub $20,000. I don't know, right?
Do the opposite of what Seiko did with Grand Seiko.
In a sense,
right? So
as
create to be under one,
absolutely.
But for that 18 or 19-year-old to go, man, I'd wear that.
Yeah, what's this?
You see that a lot in fashion brands.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely, you do. And so just to get that pathway moving, and maybe align themselves with some celebrities. And remember one thing, right? They sold to power for hundreds of years. Like
hundreds of years.
Our kings, not yours, it turns out. You know? But
we had a little disagreement about that.
Who knew, right? Like, who knew? There's some stray dog, I have no idea. But the point is, it was emperors, empresses, empires, kings, queens, statesmen.
Yep.
That back catalogue is unsurpassed.
Unbelievable.
Unsurpassed, right? Take one, tell a story, tell that to everyone on TikTok, and then you can be a part of this. Because do you want to be the next powerful president, or whatever it is you want?
There you go.
Right? I'm not a marketing guru, but I'm just saying this is where I'm taking it further.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I hope I'm not. Hey, I didn't have to sign an NDA, but when I was at this training a couple of weeks ago, the gentleman that was there, he was something along the lines of the president of brand heritage for this particular brand. Yeah. And they've finished writing it. Now they're getting through having it translated into, a large number of different languages, and it's getting ready to publish. Right. But they did a book dedicated to, this particular celebrity or famous person or this watch. Right. This is the story of that, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And that does draw interest. Now,
of course it does.
Here's where what you've got to overcome with that. I don't know if you've gone down the rabbit hole of buying these watch brand coffee table books, but the average price point's $200.
Yeah.
You got to find the way of getting that into the hands of people who. I guess if it's Breguet, hopefully the person can swing a $200 coffee table book. Sure. But for me, and I do collect them, but I've been very, very slow about collecting them because I have trouble with spending that much money on a book, even if it looks pretty on display. At the end of the day, maybe you find a way to get those messages or those stories out there in an advertising campaign where it's free.
And I mean, I'm not huge on the whole swatch mixing with a brand, right?
Okay,
Omega
sure.
or whatever. Maybe there's another watch that you'd want to partner with, another brand or something like that. But I fully agree with you. In the end, it's about how do you build your pipeline and bring people in. Right?
Correct.
It's a huge price is a huge barrier. However you look at it. So I'd be looking at what else you can do. Now, I have to tell you, Breguet, the reason I even know of them is because they have these pop-up museums. And I was looking for some new suppliers, for some new chemistries we were working on somewhere in Italy, actually. And I stumbled upon their pop-up museum. And I was inspired. I was so impressed. But, you know, maybe there is room for that, but that is not the way the world is anymore. And no one was in this room that I was in, right? Like, I was on my own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I was trying to hide from the sun because it was really strong that day. But do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
Like, that's how people know about. And then us guys, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and I had the pleasure of going to Paris last year, and I got to spend an entire day watch shopping at Palace Vendôme, and we went into the Breguet boutique there, and that's where the actual like Breguet museum is. Now, unfortunately, had trouble getting in contact with them beforehand to make an appointment, and it was the last day of our trip, so I did not get to see the museum. But I did take note while I was in there. I was the only client, my wife and I were the only clients in their entire boutique, and it's their flagship that's connected to the museum.
Absolutely right. This goes back to the point I was making earlier about I'd like to see a democratization.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately what I want, if I was CEO, I'm also, I'm the guardian of that brand at that moment, right?
100%.
I would not want Breguet to fall on my watch.
Right, man. You're gonna go down swinging. You're gonna give it everything you have.
Right?
And I don't know that a lot of people know this, but there is some talk. I won't name names, but he may have the largest YouTube channel out there in the watch industry. Has his own record for saying it is one of his goals to get investors together at some point in his life and buy that.
Oh wow,
brand.
really?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, we talk about Rolex and Omega and all 100%, right? We talk about all, but if you're a watch guy for any length of time, there's this little special place in your head that goes, Breguet, come on! Like everyone pulls for everyone wants to see what they could be. It's like I would imagine it'd be like being a director and meeting an actor for the first time and go, why are you not the biggest name in the world? Exactly. You literally have everything I could want as an actor, right? Exactly. That's how I kind of look at it,
But maybe that's part of the problem, right? So in our business right now, we've got a new product launch, and it's a revolutionary product. And actually, our problem is there's so much to say. Yeah. You need to actually cut a lot of it out and be really singular on your message. They need new following. They do need to make the numbers work, right?
Yeah.
First and foremost. So your question was, if you were CEO, that's the one. And what a challenge! Because if you screw it up, you could actually be hanged.
You're the guy. You're the guy that totally sucked the boat.
You ruined them. You could just see, Teddy coming out with like a pitchfork and stabbing you in the heart. Like,
I don't think it would be him.
No, he's a lovely guy.
Your kids are in court the next day changing their last name so they don't go down with the boat.
But you see what I mean? So the as a custodian of that brand, it's important enough. And everyone wants to see it fly. And it's about trying to bring it together. Mm-hmm. That's the one I'd go for.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I love it. I think we agree. So
yeah, for sure. But Sam, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this.
We really appreciate it. Hopefully, we can do it again sometime when you have a few minutes and you're back on the right side of the pond. from my throat. You notice that? Yeah, clear it there.
You paused and leaned for. Let me help you not choke.
Oh goodness. One of us will wear a red coat in the next fight. Okay, I'm done. I got to go pack up the hot sauce to sit home with me. We do appreciate it. We really do. It's been a lot of fun. And for those that got to watch this, I would like to say that I wish y'all could have been here for everything we said and did off camera as well. Yeah. It has been an absolute wonderful evening. Zach and I really appreciate you coming in. So
great guys.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.